It's that time again. It's Monday. Fun day. I think it's Monday. Let me check my watch. Look, my watch is off. Okay, stock line. Sorry. Hey, I'm going to go get my friend. What the heck was his name? He's a really good friend of mine. I forgot his name. His name is Steve-O. Steve, where the heck are you? Hi. Crazy.
Yeah, when I was young, they used to call me Steve Areno. And I said, well, that's pretty cool. I was going to use that as a stage name.
Steve Areno?
Yeah, Steve Areno, but I decided I didn't need that. So,
right?
The funny thing is, Steve Hart. Hart is not my real name. My real name is a German last name, but my mother's side of the family were the Harts. So I decided to become Steve Hart because it was easier to pronounce when people introduced you. So I took Steve Hart as a stage name, and it's worked out well for me. So
there you go. You're thinking. See, that's why I grabbed Magic Brad, because they can't pronounce Good'em.
That's right. Yeah, right. Right. Now, how do you pronounce your last name? Golem?
Yeah, they don't know it. It's spelled G-U-D-I-M. So some people call it, say, Gudium, but I was taught that it's pronounced Good'em. So they look at it as G-O-O-D-U-M.
Yeah, isn't it interesting? So don't be afraid to change your name if you have to for your marketing and for your presentations. Yeah. Sometimes it's smart to do,
Or do it as a symbol, formerly known as Brad. So you went to a big magic event this weekend. You were at a flea circus. No, a flea market.
Yeah, what it was is every year the Central Florida magicians gather together and have a magic flea market, and I have a lot of stuff. And in fact, I want to talk about that today. But I took a lot of my stuff over there, and I sold several $100s over of my used magic, that I no longer use, So it was great. There were about 50 magicians there, and it was, it wasn't about making the money as much as it was getting to see a lot of my old friends, because some of the guys I have not seen in years,
Mm-hmm.
And they show up at the gathering, and I know they have one in Chicago that I went to one year. It was phenomenal. So, there's a lot of used magic out there and a lot of cool stuff, I encourage people to move your stuff out. And I have a website. It's called the Magic Flea Market .blogspot.com. But anyway, if you contact me, I'll send you. But I got a bunch of my stuff onto the page, which you can buy.
A bunch of it right here too.
Well, I got this is my store that I created with. Everything on there is $10 or less, but that's all that stuff is new. All that stuff is new stuff, and it's to help encourage people to pursue magic, and some of the old timers to go back and collect some of the stuff that they had when they were young, like myself, So anyway, I wanted to share with everybody some of my experiences, both in the magic and in the speaking industry, about the amount of material that we bring with us. When I was young, I used to carry with me 2 trunkfuls of magic to every show I did, because I thought I needed that stuff to perform a professional show, to perform a show I was getting paid for. And then it started dwindling down. It actually got bigger for a while, and then it dwindled down until now. Probably about I'm going to say 80% to 90% of my shows are all out of a little suitcase.
Yeah.
It's nothing. Hang on, I got to hang up.
Have
it was my agent calling me there.
You need to learn how to pare it down when you are doing the gigs, because you go to these hotel rooms, and it's nice just to walk in the front and go up to the ballroom, rather than having to go to the back of a loading dock or something like that, or
making multiple
trips.
You got that right. Yeah.
I figured out how to put everything on a 2-wheel cart, including a little briefcase-sized sound system that I had, and I had a little light that would bungee cord on there, and I had the whole thing on one trip.
That's right. Yeah, right. But the secret is to be able to pick out the routines and tricks and concepts and ideas that work for you, that fill out that hour, fill out that time, and make it make it entertaining and useful. It's not how many tricks you do, it's the quality and the content that you provide. And the same thing goes for speaking. I used to do my speaking engagements, and I would cram all kinds of information into the program, and people couldn't consume it. It was just way too much for them to comprehend all at once. So basically, I most of my speaking presentations now are basically working down to basically 3 concepts. You tell them what you're going to tell them, you tell them, and then you tell them again what you just like an outline. You recover it again. So it makes it easier for them if they just get those 3 points. Then it has a lot of value to it, and and it doesn't take a whole lot of information to turn somebody's thinking. Just by 10 to 20%, if they can shift their thinking, makes a huge impact on their productivity.
Well, that's a common thing of you tell them what you're doing, and then you tell them what you told them, and then you tell them whatever you said. I've heard that before, and it makes sense because people have to see things over and over and over again before they remember what's really going on. And don't they say that like 90% of communication is more visual than it is the verbal? And I was going to also mention that sometimes there's magical effects that pack very small and play visually and can be long routines. Like, say, for example, a blendo routine with the red, white, and blue scarves. You can do stuff with them, changing colors, and then you can put them all together and make a flag. You can make a longer routine out of that, and it all packs under a pound.
I do that with the scarves, and then I turn it into a large scarf that has a target on it. And I talk about focusing on your goals. And each scarf is a different color, represents a different concept. And then you create a goal or a target where you want to hit, and how to hit that target every time. But I'm not going to share that unless you ask me.
Well, this is my sister, Mary.
Good morning.
Hello.
Is she single?
She's down in Austin, Texas. She's close to you down in Austin, Texas. There you go. My sister. Yes. So let's see, what else can we talk about as far as that packing small? Sometimes you can put it in your contract to have them provide the sound system, and you can make certificates of the kind of sound system you want rather than pack your own sound system, because that can be a pain right there.
Right.
And if you do bring your own sound system, make sure you upcharge that a little bit, because you're saving them guys $500 or $1,000.
Right. Yeah, but I'm at an age now where my sound system is really small. It's about 35. Well, yes, I use my voice, no question about it. I worked as a street performer back in the 80s. You learn how to project your voice. It was funny. We would actually hire people to work with us in the festival marketplace as street performers, and within a week they'd lose their voice because they weren't used to straining their voice and speaking out. And you learn how to use your voice, and then you got to learn how to use a microphone. You got to learn how to do that.
Drink enough water. You got to drink some water. Yeah, a lot of people don't know how to use a microphone to speak into it. They hold it this way, and it's not an omnidirectional microphone, and then they hold it down.
Of course, we as performers have to use our hands as magicians, so we have to know how to position ourselves. So with the microphone, either a wrapper, and I use a handheld mic on a holder because I like to take it out and let people speak to when I bring people.
That's what I got. I do too, and it's very simple. It's a special kind of shoelace and a piece of coat hanger in there. That's all I use.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's one of those shoelaces that are actually a tube, but they're pressed flat. So you gotta make sure you get the right one, because I bought them that aren't a tube. And I just tie a knot in the shoelace. And I just pull it over my head, and it's got a little U-shaped thing in there.
Yeah.
The microphone in there.
Oh yeah. You're talking about the holder. I'll have to show you the one that I use. Maybe we could do that another time.
Yeah.
But I actually made mine, and I like mine better. It doesn't move around. It doesn't swing around. It stays.
That's another topic we could talk about too. Is oftentimes when magicians are buying props, whether they be magical effects or equipment, sometimes the manufacturer is kind of clueless because they haven't even been on the stage.
That's right.
They don't realize
exactly right.
Things have to work certain ways.
Yeah. That's thing about gaining experience, what I call stage time. The more time you've been on stage, the more you learn about what works and what doesn't work, So I tell new people or people younger than me are learning, get more stage time as much as you can. I had one yesterday. I was in a lodge, and it was a large room, and the crowd was only maybe 30 people.
Mm-hmm.
The object was to get the people to come in as close as possible to me so they could hear me.
Right.
And then also there's that human contact. When you're far away, there's not this visual energy, vibrational contact with,
Yeah.
and then the demise is when we have to go do a ballroom, and there's this big dance floor. The stage
Right.
is up here. Here's this big dance floor, and here's your audience out there on the tables. I never worked on the stage.
Those are some things that people don't. The beginners, beware of the L-shaped room. That could be a problem.
Yep.
I remember I did a larger convention once, and it was very crowded. I was in the back of the room waiting to go on, and there was so many people there, I couldn't get to the stage. So when they introduced me, I started shouting and getting my voice, and I made it into part of my show. I was crawling under tables and stuff, and just made it part of the entrance as part of the wackiness. But at first I thought, oh my God, how am I going to get up there?
Yeah.
Because everybody was back to back,
Smart. Yeah, so. That was smart. And that's good. That's a good advice. And people need to pay attention to those little secrets like that are what make the difference as a working professional speaker or a magician,
And there really isn't, I guess a book would do it, but you really can't. I've been doing event stuff forever, and oftentimes we do the same exact event every year, but it's always different.
Yeah.
There's always something that's going to go wrong, no matter what it is.
Oh, yeah.
The wind's blowing from the north or the west or the rain or something's going to happen.
Yeah.
So you got to be ready for it.
I tell people who especially agents who book me, I learned to be flexible, because there are some guys out there who are just stringent about how it has to be. And if they don't have it the way they want it, they will not go on and they'll not cooperate. And I've learned to be flexible, because there's always something going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work the way you want. So you learn to dance. You learn to flow with what's happening, and it's a challenge. It is a challenge, but you learn how to do it.
Well, if you're working through the agent and the planner, you need to understand that your fee was probably marked up. So if you're only getting, say, $500 or $1,000 for the show, keep in mind that you might be doing a $2,500 magic show.
Yeah.
So you better look like it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. True.
Yeah.
And now let me ask you this: when you say "look like it," describe what you mean, because some people have an image of what they think that means. What do you think? What do you mean when you say?
Well, I'll tell a very unusual story I just told to my wife yesterday. But you've got to have your shoes polished. You got to make sure that your pants are pressed, because when you're on the stage, everybody else at eye level, they're basically looking at your lower part. They're seeing that kind of stuff. So if you got scuffed up old shoes, that's going to distract from you doing the presentation, and you're just about to pull the rabbit out of the hat, and they're looking at your scuffed up shoes, and they missed it, and they don't apply.
So you're not really talking about large props or a lot of scenery when you say.
Well, some of that stuff too. I mean, even the illusionists, like when I went to see Siegfried and Roy, this is back when they were at the MGM, long time ago.
Yeah.
And I was in the front row. That big elephant comes along. You can kind of see everything. And you can see certain little imperfections that are happening, not to take anything away from the superstars of magic, but there's makeup around the collar that you can see and stuff like that when you get that close, because they're doing shows all the time. You have to kind of upgrade some of that stuff. You can't get in this rut of, oh, that's no big deal. It's far away. They won't see it. They do see it.
Well, when you said to gotta look professionally, they have to look like a $25,000 show. It has to do, in my mind, with the presentation, the way you think and way you perceive yourself.
Yeah.
And not just driving from the ego, but from the heart. Mm-hmm. And so you learn how to connect with the audience. And by connecting to the audience, they feel that when you engage with them, that you really care and you're going to give them something that they want. And everybody wants you. When they're in their audience, they want you to be good. They want you to be good. So it's not like they're working against you, but you have to know how to mentally prepare yourself to walk out on stage and give them that quality performance.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and how you act when you're done. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
People are talking to you and things.
Oh yeah. So those are a lot of heavy secrets that we're passing on.
Well, it's interesting that there's a lot of magicians that are always looking for the next trick.
Yeah.
And they want to go professional. Maybe it's not about a trick. Maybe it's an acting class.
Or just reading a book or listening to
listening to us.
I was going to say, oh yeah, I was going to say cassette tape, but that's outdated.
Listen to us. We'll tell you a thing or two. And I'm sure that you're open to a chat if anybody's listening to this and wants to talk with Stephen Hart and learn a little bit.
I do one-on-ones all the time through the internet and in person. And I probably do one-on-ones 3 or 4 or 5 times a week, with video chats, So yeah. That's my Magic to Motivate site. Yeah. That's the one that offers some of my stuff at a material at a really great discount, So if you sign up, I have a newsletter I send out, and you get free access to a video of me doing a motivational magic program for free.
What are your thoughts on, granted, I mean, I try and work corporate gigs, but if a kid's birthday party comes along, I might do that. What are your thoughts on separating the image and the websites on that?
Well, on the website, I do separate them, but I don't have your problem doing both. I mean, it's still me.
I'm talking about the first impression when someone sees it, because I see some of these people that have very nice websites because they put a lot of money into it, or they had a really good designer that did it for an affordable price. And then you find out that most of their work is children's birthday parties.
Well, it's because it's easy to get the birthday parties. I'm just going to be straightforward. I mean, if you go to my site and, stevehartspeaks.com, I mean, that is a professional site for my speaking, but I also have Magician Steve Hart, which is mostly birthday parties, which I still do. So, but I separated them out,
And some people will talk about, how can you possibly do that same show at a children's birthday party for $200 that you're charging $2,000 for a corporation for?
It is the same show. For the adults, I go slower.
But the point is, there's a lot more pressure in an adult corporate environment.
Oh yeah.
Whereas a kid's show, you just got to go in there and act like a wacko, and just they're happy as hell.
Well, now wait a second. I'm going to say the family kids show is just as challenging as adults. But you're dealing with different issues, So
it is.
So I have my fair share of challenges when I do the family kids show, and when I do my adult shows, it's a different type of challenge. But you learn.
That's part of the perception, because oftentimes people say, "How can you charge a magician, a performer, even a speaker? How can you charge so much when you do the Rotary for free, and then when Apple calls you up and wants to do a corporate thing, how come you can charge them so much?" There's a reason for it. Part of it is they have the budget. That's what they expect. If you were 10 minutes late for the kid's birthday party, they'll probably forgive you. You're 10 minutes late to go on the stage for Apple, you're fired. Different deal.
You learn over the years how to run your business. And you're right. Right. But I'm not even late for a birthday party,
Nope, you can't be. I'll tell a quick little story. I've never missed a show, ever.
Wow.
However, there was one situation. Now I'll tell you the story. There was a situation with me and my friend David Stahl. We were working, they wanted 2 magicians. Ruth Code with the Leisure Code booked us on this. 2 magicians to go out to the Marriott, do walk around magic, get on 2 buses, go out to Lake Minnetonka, get on 2 boats, and do magic. Well, I'm at the Marriott, all of a sudden, tornado. We have a tornado. there was all sorts of chaos and everything. And then the sky's clear and the tornado's gone and people get on the buses and they're off. Brad missed his bus. Dave drove, so I didn't have any way to get to the place. So what he did for me was he did his set, went on his boat, did some things. Then he talked to the captain, and somehow he worked his way off the boat, getting onto the other boat, and he went on and introduced himself as me, and he did my set for me.
Whoa, that was amazing.
So I can say virtually I've never missed a show.
Oh my
That is
God.
one show that I physically was not at.
That's a great story. I don't
My
know.
buddy Dave covered for
Give
me.
that guy a gold star.
Oh my God. So that's kind of fun, all those craziness. Hey, we've gone for 21 minutes already. Holy smokes, we're on a roll.
Yeah.
No, we're on a bagel.
Well, I always have something to share with you. It's been great having these doing these videos, and I'm looking forward to keep doing them. So.
Well, I'm going to put you into the green room. I get to do that. You don't get to walk out on your own accord. I can just click a button and phew, you're in there with those digital hors d'oeuvres.
I disappear.
Oh, come in there. Okay, snap your fingers. Snap your fingers.
What?
Snap your fingers.
What?
Snap your fingers.
That's what I just did.
There he goes, just like that, just like magic. He disappeared. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and berries, I'm going to take off myself. Appreciate for stopping by. If you want to know more, you can go to his dollar store magic tricks. Now, these are very affordable magic tricks if you're a speaker at a corporate event or just a salesperson that wants to get your foot in the door and break the ice. You can go to this little website here, and he's got all sorts of cool stuff. One of my favorites is these butterflies. You open up a book, and these butterflies fly out. It's pretty cool. Cool stuff. Okay, peace, love, and happiness. Magic Brad signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be good, be kind, be nice, be safe. See ya.